James Lawhon. Recently, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth addressed the military community, talked about renewing the warrior ethos. He emphasized readiness and discipline and the idea that the military service often requires hardship and sacrifice. This may sound like some new concepts to some, but for those who have served in the military, this idea is not new. They're accustomed to having to place duty ahead of any sort of personal comfort and sometimes even their own safety. This expectation becomes most evident whenever military leaders face some sort of extreme pressure or even mortal danger. For me, one of the best examples of this is James Stockdale. During the Vietnam War, he was shot down by the North Vietnamese and captured. Starting in 1965, he spent 7.5 years in a North Vietnamese POW camp where he faced isolation, interrogation, numerous cases of physical abuse. Through all of that, one of the things that happened to him that exemplifies the principle of sacrifice great to me is when the North Vietnamese were going to use him in a propaganda broadcast. He Rather than allow that to happen, he chose to deliberately injure himself by cutting his scalp to cover his face in blood. Then used a stool to beat his own face to make himself unrecognizable. By doing this, he knew this would lead to harsher treatment, but he did prevent the broadcast from happening, and by doing so, protected his fellow prisoners, as well as protected the reputation of the country that he represented. He put his well-being second to his duty. Fast forward to today, military leadership looks drastically different. Artificial intelligence, automated systems, they have great influence on how operations are planned and how decisions are being made. But no matter how advanced military technology becomes, the core expectation of military leaders they are required to replace duty above any sort of personal interests. Admiral Stockdale's experience reminds us that this standard is not a theory. It's already been tested and undergone the most extreme conditions imaginable. He is one of the finest examples of military service, and above all, he is a true patriot.